Hi, Dr. Mark Agresti. This video is on we must adapt or perish. What do I mean when I say that? It's been over 30 years in psychiatric practice talking to people and watching how things have changed. And how have they changed? Technology is changing us. How is it changing us? This is not just about millennials, young people, old people, it's everybody. Technology is removing the need for human interaction. Face on face, being with someone is fading away due to technology. What do I mean when I say that? Well, let's start with video games. We learn to entertain ourselves. We're not having a play date, we're having an electronic friend. It might be human at the other end or it might be electronic, but we spend hours alone in a room tethered electronically to the world. And that's all ages. I'm not just talking about young people. I have older patients, young patients, middle age. They check out when they go on the internet. They're not with people. What about research? Well, it sounds like a minor issue, but it used to be if you were looking for a new hair product or a new cream or a new food or a new fishing pole, a new basketball, a new boat, you would talk to people and go out and talk to people who are in the industry, who knew a lot about it, and ask questions. Not anymore. If you're an engineer, a lawyer, a doctor, an accountant, auto body repair, food salesman, you find all your research online. You don't need to go to a specialist or someone who has the information. No one has the monopoly on information anymore. It's all over the internet. This is another area where human interaction does not take place. That's unique in millennia. 2 millennia, 3 millennia. You had to go where people knew. If you wanted to learn how to do some task, build a home, build a well, you had to really talk to someone who had done it before, or you would have to interact with people who had ideas. You could not do it alone. Now, YouTube video, research on the internet, you could say you could learn it from books before, but they were nowhere near as capable as videos and internet research and asking specific questions. Socialization is taking place on the internet. Facebook, Instagram, dating apps, all these social media platforms are taking away from human interaction. So people are under the assumption that they are interacting, but is electronic interaction. So the video games, research or finding about things, social interaction, prevents us from human interaction if it's done over the internet. How about just going to restaurants? That's sort of fading away. What's going on now? DoorDash, Uber Eats, delivery dudes, ghost restaurants. What does that mean? It's a restaurant with no tables, not a place where people meet. Now, electronically, people order food to their house and pay for it electronically, and an individual shows up with the food from any restaurant they want. It's a matter of time. We all know it. It'll be driverless delivery, and they text you a code, and you put the code into the trunk or into the cargo bin and open it and get your food. There'll be no more people. It's a matter of time. We all know that. Banking over the internet. You don't need to go make a deposit. You don't need to make withdrawals anymore. Everything can be done electronically. Everyone shops over the internet now. You can virtually get any product you want, whenever you want it, with Amazon, Jet, Walmart. Anything is available to you. And it used to be groceries even were an exception, but now even with Instacart, those things are delivered to your door. So the reasons we need to go and interact with people are becoming less and less. And I'll tell you why in a minute, why that is an evolutionary change. And we must adapt or perish. We are not adapting quick enough to the technological advances that are preventing human interaction and isolating us. Even doctor visits with this telemedicine are becoming electronic. Still, massages, hair treatments, get your hair cut, colored, groomed, nails, doctor's visits, spa visits, dental visits, dog grooming. But even now, they're having mobile all of this. So pretty soon you will not leave your house. Why is that a problem? It's a problem because we have the illusion of friends. We have no friends. We've become isolated. We are social animals. So what's happening is, with isolation, we get depression, anxiety disorder, social anxiety, phobias. Also, we get to the realization at some point with these electronic interactions that our life is an electronic myth, that we don't really exist. You start questioning who you are. There's no romantic intimacy on the internet. No physical romantic intimacy. Also, there's no checks and balances on our behavior. If you smell, don't bathe, don't groom, don't dress. If your speech, if your interactions are inappropriate, no, there'll be no comments. That's for group behavior and group checks and balances if you're part of a social group. But if you're not, those checks and balances won't take place. So you could live in your house, be on the internet all day, ordering Chick-fil-A every night, and virtually sit there in a robe, smell, not bathe, no cosmetic improvements to your appearance, and no one's going to say anything. That's a problem. You say a week, it's no problem. A month, what about if it goes into years? Here's other problems. When we take out the human element, really we lose track of spontaneous humor. We stop being funny. Humor is really, you need to be next to someone. You can watch a funny thing, but really it's done when people are in a group. They become funny, everyone laughs, but alone that doesn't take place. Empathy. You lose the ability to decide what's going on with someone else. That's why all these Facebook and Twitter and videos can be very mean, because you don't feel the other person's pain. You don't see the other person's happiness. You don't sense their attraction. There's no sympathy for others. That's why people are so cruel online. You would never do the evil things that people do online to someone who's standing right next to you. Social etiquette is lost. The ability to speak fluently and spontaneously, and to absorb nonverbal cues and verbal cues, meaning like, what's that body posture mean, that facial expression, what does it all mean? The intonations in the voice, how it's spoken, how the speech is formed, it's lost. Your response times go away. You stop responding to nonverbal cues because it's not interactive in a live sense. You stop being able to read body language. You lose any aspect of another person's pain or happiness or attraction. And we are animals. Let's not forget what being next to them, their smell, their visual impression, the energy they send off, this is all lost electronically, and it is critical. What also else is lost? The spontaneous shared experience. And in groups, and when we interact with others, we experience new things through someone else. That's not happening. What can we do about this? We first have to realize, that this is a problem, that our social interactions are decreasing over time, and technology is taking away those interactions that were happening spontaneously, now or not. So it's not spontaneous now. We have to really think about that, because we're losing that. What can we do about this? We must make efforts to interact with other people. In the real world sense, we must go be with other people. We must desensitize ourselves to interacting with other people and be around them. This is what I encourage. Routine chores are no longer needed. They're not happening. So what do? We have to have hobbies, interests. Make it a priority so that your work life requires you to interact with people, so that you're in contact with your family in the real sense. Sporting activities, spectator activities where you go with other people. It has to be in groups. It has to be with other people. You must schedule these events because they will not happen unless you don't. In the past, our need for survival to get food, shelter, water, entertainment, sex, social interaction, research, we had to interact with people. But now we don't. So you have to schedule it. You have to learn to start conversations with people. And otherwise, I'm sensing that people are sensitized, anxious, there's social anxiety, there's fearfulness due to their ineptitude at this social skill. You have to start somewhere. Bar none. The next thing I say is critical. Put down the phone, the iPad, the TV, and go out into the world and interact. Look to interact. Schedule activities that require you to interact. If a phone is present, you will not interact. You will be disrupted. The electronic devices must be put aside. Another aspect, what we can do to make this better is don't be afraid to ask for help. If someone is a good communicator and able to interact, copy what you find good in them. A good copy is as good as the real thing. We need to learn from people with more experience, ask for their help, ask for their advice, family members, friends, aunts, uncles, senior citizens, young people, old people. Certain people have natural skills at this and are good at it. So we need to ask them for our help. Where do I see this going? We must adapt. We must see this as a problem, and we must start instructing our young people, helping our elderly who are becoming isolated, because right now artificial intelligence is here. So people are having online interactions which they think is a friend. It's not a friend, it's artificial intelligence. You're interacting with someone who you think is a real person. It is not. It is artificial intelligence. And it's a matter of time before robots take a place in our home, in our daily lives, in our work lives. At first, it'll be simple tasks, cleaning the floor, driving the car. But those tasks very quickly will be more important, where they will become companions. They will clean the house. They will cook meals. They will drive us, fly us, be captains of our boats. The robots will be working alongside us very soon. This is not fantasy. 5-10 years away, not even. In some aspects, technology and robots will be in our lives, and they already are. So we must adapt now. This is the topic of my next book, but I got into this topic on my latest book, Tales from the Couch, on Amazon.com by Dr. Mark Agresti. Thank you. Also, I have topics that I write articles on every week, similar to this one, on my blog at dragresti.com. And just hit the blog area. It's on the toolbar. Just hit blog. Thank you, Dr. Mark Agresti.